So what made you start trying out drugs? What was it that got you started in that?
Well, when I was younger, was I started smoking weed, and it kind of went from weed to now when I'm buying weed, I'm getting into different groups of people, and in all honesty, I got into it with the wrong crowd of people. And so we went to this party one night, and they had some coke lined up on the table, and they were like, "Hey man, you got to try this. You got to try this." And so I ended up doing just a little bit. It wasn't even a lot. It was just a little bit, and like the high that I got was like phenomenal, and I was able to stay up. We partied. We had fun. It was an awesome time, and so it was just different. It was a different high than smoking weed, and so I started snorting coke, and now it's kind of just been just a way of life now.
Can you tell me a little bit about your family, your mom, your dad, your sister, if you have any siblings?
So this is kind of hard for me to talk about, but my mother she did snort coke, and so this wasn't something that got me into doing it, but at the same time, it was something that was, I guess, familiar. I seen my mom do it, and she'd be up all hours of the night doing laundry and folding clothes and everything, and it kind of seemed like it was something that kind of made her day function a little bit better. And so I didn't really think it was that big of a deal. My sister smoked weed. Older brother smoked weed. Younger brother didn't really do anything, and so that's the drug background in my family.
And father?
He wasn't in the picture for a lot of time, and so he didn't necessarily have an influence with me doing it or not.
Okay. And growing up, did you play any sports? Were you involved in anything, or?
Yeah, so when I was younger, I played football. Ended up getting really good at that, and got ended up getting a scholarship to play Division I football. So I played football at Fresno State, and all through college there was no drugs. There was nothing because I was trying to be a D1 athlete at the time. So I didn't do anything, and so it was really after that, kind of just finding my identity again. I was done playing football and started partying, and that's kind of how it happened. But I had a wouldn't say good childhood, but it was dysfunctional in every sense of the word. But these were my choices, and so they were my own choices that I chose to do.
So I heard you mention football. Would you care to explain a little bit more about that? You said you wanted to be a D1 football player. You're focusing on that. Would you like to elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah, so I ended up getting good while I was in high school. My grades weren't great. I ended up getting an opportunity to go on a couple college visits. I went to the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, UNLV, and then I went on a recruiting trip to Fresno State. I absolutely loved it, and ended up becoming a Fresno State Bulldog. So I played there for 3 years, and then going into my senior year, I ended up quitting, and for various reasons I don't care to share right now, but I quit my senior year, and while it was great while I was there, it was still a lot because there was parties, there was girls, there was drinking, there was smoking. There's a lot going on over those several years of college.
So I hear a lot about partying and drinking. Would you be able to elaborate on how you feel like you handle stress?
Back then it was great. There wasn't a lot of stress. It was just partying and having fun. And so now, as I've gotten older, I got kids, a baby mama. That's my mom, the baby's mom. My baby's mom. I have 7 kids and 4 different baby moms. And so the stress level there is, they don't like communicating with me. They think I got a drug problem too. And so it's really hard for me to just see my kids. And so to answer your question in short, I think I run to snorting coke because it keeps me going while I'm just going day to day, wanting to see my kids, and my baby mama's tripping and not letting me see my kids. And I think they might do drugs too. If I'm honest with you, I think they need to be sitting here too.
Okay. Okay. Well, there's a lot of different options that we can do, and we're talking about drugs. There's rehab centers. There's sometimes if you're just around certain people, different friend groups, different church groups, and things like that, we may be able
Nah,
to.
see, I don't do that church stuff.
Well, it doesn't
Um,
have to be church related. It could just be a center of community. If you don't want it, there's Christian organizations you could be a part of.
and those like NA meetings, like those Narcotics Anonymous stuff. I don't want to go to none of that stuff.
So you don't want to go to any group related.
I like talking to you.
Okay, so you just want to do a one-on-one thing. You want
Yeah.
Okay, so we can walk through that. I think that there's a lot of relationships that will be built here, and as you get open, maybe down the road, you may be more open to going to some groups or finding just some other ways to alleviate your stress. I know you said that you feel like you're managing your stress well, but maybe there's some things that we can look further into and kind of figure out. Try to figure out what other options there are for us, because there are a lot of options out there. What's your support system like? Who would you say is around to support you and help you?
Just me, you know what I mean? Like I got it out the mud and I'm still here. It's just me. So I don't really talk to nobody like that. So that's why this is different for me to be here with you. So it's cool.
Okay. So explain to me or elaborate a little bit on what made you, come here today. Did you have a run-in, or did you just wake up and say, "Hey, I want to change my life"? Can you give me a little bit of insight?
Well, I want to see my kids. And so my PO said this is something that I need to do. So that's why I'm here.
Okay. So there's no relationship with children or baby mother right now.
Nah, because they don't let me see my kids. And so when I call them, text them, they don't never answer.
Okay. Well, I definitely think that there are some routes that we can take. We know that the end goal here is to get you off of drugs and to get you back reunited with your kids and your family. And so we'll do that. We'll work together as a team. You won't be in this by yourself. There will be a commitment level that we'll need from you if this is the direction that you want to go. But it's not something you're doing alone. I'm here. We'll continue to dig deeper and tackle some of the things that could be hindering you from taking the next step. Are you open to taking the next step and going further in this?
I think so.
Do you feel like this is a personal choice, or do you feel like this is something you're doing for other reasons?
No, my PO said I need to be here. So I want to see my kids. So that's the personal as it gets. You know what I'm saying? I want to see my kids. And so my PO said this is how I'll be able to see my kids again. So.
Okay. And last question before we wrap up. Can you tell me a little bit more about what happened with the PO, or how he came a part of the scenario?
That's getting a little deep, kind of early.
Okay.
But just know it was it was drugs involved.
Okay.
It was drugs involved.
Okay. Well, I thank you so much for your time today. We won't push, we won't press anything that you're not open to sharing today, but we will continue to build a relationship together. And again, I'm here with you. There's a lot of different routes that we can go. So before we set a plan, let's build a relationship. Let's get to know each other. I really would love to hear just more about your childhood and about school and your upbringing. I think that those things will really help us kind of figure out what the next steps will be. So thank you for coming in today.